All right, here's the strong winds. We are just in the core now. We lost the window.
It just doesn't stop.
Numerous winds of 90 miles an hour or greater. Several reports of damage. It is going into the Cedar Rapids metro area, into downtown. Williamsburg around 12:15, Newhall around 12:20, Benton around 12:30, Cedar Rapids around 12:30 to 12:45. It was just watching all of it unfold to our west and knowing that was coming this way, but not really knowing what it was going to do.
We didn't know anything about a derecho coming this way.
Saw something come across about a severe thunderstorm warning. So I was kind of keeping my eye on the outside.
I started texting some of my friends who are also spotters.
Maybe we had discussed, like maybe somebody had mentioned it in the locker room. Maybe I made sure I grabbed my raincoat.
I want to give you a look outside right now because you can already see the big shelf cloud here in the distance. It is a wall of water. It's essentially a hurricane over Iowa. Again, we had that reported gust of 99 miles an hour in the Marshalltown area.
The storm going through Marshalltown was kind of our last signal before it got into our area. Getting the wind measurements out of there and the severe reports really set us up for our expectations of what was going to happen in eastern Iowa.
Saw a AAA email come across saying Marshalltown had 98-mile-an-hour winds, and I had to close my mouth because it didn't look that bad outside. But then our power flickered 5 times that I know of, and I grabbed my stuff and went downstairs.
About noon, I decided to head to my spot, which is located on Quiver Court, just off Boyson Road and just west of Alburnett Road in Marion. It's got a perfect 360-degree clear view of the sky.
The first inkling we had was I got an email that we since our daughter was headed off to school, we were all going up to get COVID tests, and we got an email from Chest, Iowa, saying, "Hey, if there's potentially bad weather this afternoon, and if that's the case, they'll have to reschedule testing."
We had a truck out here. We're replacing some parts on it and washing it, maintaining it, and we decided to grab some lunch. We went into the office area. Zach and I stayed because we brought our lunch with us, and my cousin Mike, he went to town to grab some. We saw a little bit of a storm warning coming. My parents had texted me and said there was a bad storm on the way, and we thought, we didn't really hear much about it, so we kind of ignored it.
Monitoring the storm on radar through much of the day, and it was holding its own. Not only was it holding its own, but it was intensifying. It was my intention then not to go out to meet it or to chase it. So I opted to stay within less than a mile from my home.
We didn't expect anything coming, and we weren't paying attention to radios and weather forecasts at that point.
Yeah, we'll go back in third and we'll go east now instead of west. Now we're just going to play a game of trying to stay ahead of this thing. Yeah. It really is a game of cat and mouse.
We were in the process, myself and our HR director, Tammy Wise, she was helping me call the county offices. I was calling all the cities, letting them know if you have people outside, please get them inside. Have them take cover, get their outside things buttoned up, things put away, people back indoors. And just as we were getting the last community called and the last county office called, the wind just came in. I was looking out the door off to the south and everything looked green. So I knew something was going to happen, probably a lot bigger of an event than what we were even anticipating.
We were watching Channel 2 on the TV in the office in the shop, and we eventually ended up losing satellite coverage. And so we kind of relied on our phone for some apps and radar and things like that. And we just didn't really think, I mean, we study the weather being farmers. We watch it every single day, and it just did not seem like it was going to be that severe until it came pretty much out of nowhere.
And I headed to the Toledo Fire Station, which was just right across the street. All the responders were out. I asked them what they needed, and it was kind of one of those things where we don't know what we need yet. So I just let them know, contact me on the radio, contact me on the cell phone. I immediately called the state, because we call state duty officer, to let them know we've had a significant event. We don't exactly know what resources we need yet, but we've had a significant event. We will be calling for resources at some point in time.
So we are racing the storm right now on Highway 30. I thought the storm would be a little bit more photogenic.
And right now, I just wanted to give you an update on things. We may hang here for a little bit just to give warning to the control booth back there, but we have a very intense thunderstorm that is ongoing right now. There have been reports of substantial damage around Tama County, and the National Weather Service is saying winds are possibly near 100 miles an hour or higher. We had been doing several cut-ins prior to the noon newscast. I went in and I was like, you get those wind gusts that are coming into the metro if they're up at 70 miles per hour. Yeah, you should probably hang with it. And it was so far away, it was still seemingly so far away that it felt like maybe this was too much to keep with it.
Progressively, we were realizing when we were getting those wind reports of 90 mile per hour, even 100 mile per hour at some point, that this was a serious storm. And I think even just looking at the warnings, while you felt in control, because people were getting notified to some level of that there was a severe thunderstorm warning, it covered basically the whole state at one point. And so how do you even try to explain what this is and what the destruction can do?
It was rapidly evolving, really hour by hour. Every hour, the intensity of the storm increased. The outlook for severe weather increased. We were playing catch up with that storm pretty much all morning long. And then we reached noon and the warning started entering our counties. And that's when it was like, all right, what's done is done. Now it's time to kind of do our job in trying to warn the public.
91 miles an hour showing up in some spots, 66. I mean, we have just incredibly intense thunderstorms.
All right, hello YouTube. It's August 10th, 2020. The year that just never ceases to amaze is continuing to amaze. We've got MCV coming in with 100 mile an hour confirmed winds west of me here in Toledo, which is Tama County.
Right now, we're right on the leading edge of the storm. We are just north of Belle Plaine by Van Horn, racing back east on 30. I don't know how well you can see it, but the corn in the foreground is almost being knocked completely to the ground. Very intense winds now racing down Highway 30. There's a lot of leaves flying through the air, a lot of damage. Look at all the leaves and debris flying through the air right now. The core of those winds, upwards of 100 miles per hour, probably about a mile or two behind us.
But it was a gorgeous day, and I had in just a normal Iowa day. A nice actually Iowa day. Yeah, we got there about midday, and we were hiking up. There's some gorgeous bluffs there along the Cedar River.
It was a weekday morning, so it wasn't so busy that day, and we probably had 15, 20 campers in the campground, and maybe 15 vehicles in the park at the time. But we had been turning cars away from the park all morning because we were cutting trees that were falling down over the main road. So that was really a saving grace to some extent, possibly for some people out here.
It looks like there's a pretty good indication of very intense winds just northwest of Belle Plaine, west of Belle Plaine, Keystone area right now. And this is coming right towards Cedar Rapids. So Cedar Rapids, we've been telling you, you need to take these storms very, very seriously. These storms will pack quite the punch. Again, we're talking wind gusts upwards of 100 miles per hour, and we're already seeing indications of that on the very leading edge. Rebecca.
Yeah, and Nick, we've gotten reports now in Marshall County of 106-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Now we have this warning now, Sarah, for Linn County, for Cedar Rapids is for 90-mile-an-hour winds. This is for 90-mile-an-hour winds. So folks, we're staying here. We have a very, very intense thunderstorm. I'm treating this as if this is a tornado warning. Then we get a report of 106-mile-per-hour winds confirmed. And then it's like, well, we need to stay with this. And the fact that it was moving at 70 miles per hour, that it then ended up in Cedar Rapids about 20 minutes later. But the fact that we were getting the confirmed reports of 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts, that, I mean, unbelievable, really.
So that's what's coming our way. We've got a nice blowing segment, and we're going to be kind of on the northern peak of it, and that's where the strongest winds tend to be.
We walked outside to see it as it was coming over the hill back there, and all of a sudden the temperature dropped about 25 degrees, it seemed. I mean, enough to give you goosebumps. And we thought, there's something wrong here, and the sky started to make like a low-pitched noise, kind of a, you know, like they say, like a freight train. And we thought, well, we'll just go back inside and finish our lunch. We didn't know what was coming. Woo!
And again, there's likely incredible wind behind us as well. We're starting to get closer to those more intense wind gusts.
Cedar Rapids to Iowa City. This is an incredibly intense thunderstorm that is ongoing right now.
And when everything started crashing down, we ducked underneath the trailer here, and we were laying right in between the tires there with a couple dogs, and we kind of hunkered down and hoped for the best.
Somehow we fit 2 of us and 2 dogs together underneath, in between those tires, to protect ourselves. And the trailer ended up keeping the rafters from falling on us, and the tin and everything. So I guess it was about the only place we had left to go. Building completely rained down on top of that truck all the way around us. I mean, we were laying in a couple inches of water. It was really uncomfortable, but you know, it saved us. That truck saved our lives.
It felt like the world had ended out here. I could hear the screeching of the metal, and I'm assuming that that was taking the metal off the tops of the bins and the machine shed. I could hear things scrunching for a long time, like you were moving metal across the cement, and actually that did happen. You'd hear a lot of screeching and then just bang on the ground. I'm guessing the house shook. I wasn't sure that the house was going to still be there when I came up out of the basement from all the sound. And it was a good 40 minutes. It was a good 40 minutes of not being able to get in touch with someone. I mean, I called my son in Cedar Rapids. I said, head for the basement now. He hadn't heard anything, so he did.
Now we are on Highway 30. We're near the Van Horn area. All right, here's the strong winds. We are just in the core now. All right, Jason, if you want to pull over safely, you can do so. We are now in the core of really intense winds. We got a big burst right there. You can see we are going probably about 40 to 50, and you can see the wind is going faster than we are. The rain's going faster than we are. Intense wind with this storm right now. You can probably see leaves flying through the air. That's debris flying through the air as well. Jason, let me get you a good crossroad here as soon as I can. We got a road coming up, and again, you can see really intense wind happening with this storm. We got cars. This car is just in oncoming traffic. I don't know what this guy is doing. Wow. Okay, because I don't know what that was, but that was big problems. We got debris flying up the road with us right now.
You know, I've been storm chasing for more than a decade, and I've seen so many extremes in weather, but this was the first time that I felt like I really lost control of the situation. There was nowhere that we could go to be safer. We tried to do everything that we could to be safe when we were out there. We kind of got on the downside of a hill, tried to get some protection that way. We had a line of trees a bit off to our west that acted a bit like a windbreak. We didn't have any buildings like sheds that would come apart in destructive winds. We tried to do everything that we could to be as safe as we could out there.
How fast the wind is going right now. Really, really intense wind with the storms that moves down Highway 30. Right now we are right near Van Horn. This is coming right towards you in Cedar Rapids. Very intense wind is flying with the storm right now.
So I checked the weather religiously, obviously being in deck staining. And so I knew there's like a 60% chance of rain in the afternoon. So no big deal. We were working inside, so it's totally fine. But we saw really dark clouds coming in from the west. I had a friend from Des Moines check in saying there's a serious storm coming, but I thought like a little bit of thunderstorm, some lightning, nothing too crazy.
I just remember the skies being, you know, kind of this light gray as, you know, you can see maybe there might be rain coming. And I knew there was some storms coming, but nothing like we got.
Headed down to Tama and driving along Highway 63 heading south, just seeing buildings blown across the road, trailers flipped over in the Casey's parking lot, trees down, lines down, people trying to drive under power lines, around power lines, cars hung up in them. EMS couldn't get to the north end of town, they couldn't get to the south end of town, we had lines down. So this was a large scope that we knew as Tama County we had to respond to on our own, because mutual aid was not going to be a possibility, because Marshall County got hit, Poweshiek County got hit, Benton County got hit. We didn't know what was going on up in Black Hawk County, so this was something we had to rely on our own.
I've seen so many reports of these homes and businesses and buildings being damaged, and unfortunately, I mean, there's going to be so much loss on these crops too. So this is right along Highway 30. This is coming to the east incredibly quickly, and it is going to be an intense period of strong winds as it comes to the east here. So this is the situation. Very, very dangerous thunderstorm. If you do not have to be out, then please stay inside, and you want to just be away from the windows is going to be the key thing here as we're dealing with these intense thunderstorms that are going to produce winds of 80, 90, maybe even higher in terms of the wind speeds. I think it was still so hard to really comprehend what the storm was actually doing. It was still really difficult to wrap your head around it.
I don't think any 4 years of school can set you up for what that storm was like. And so I think we all felt a little out of control, not seeing how rapidly this storm intensified over just a couple of hours.
Sirens are going off.
The sirens went off, and then they went off for a while and then stopped. And I was like looking around going, what's this for? Because once again, it's just as my son said, overcast gray sky. I thought, I don't see anything.
After all the sirens and weather radio went off, things calmed down, so I come out to check on these guys. I thought that the sirens were probably freaking them out. They probably never heard anything like that before, so I would be if I was them, so I wanted to come check on them.
We're hiking up, there's some gorgeous bluffs there along the Cedar River, just walking along the trail, and we got sort of to a certain point and started hearing sirens in the distance, and it was like, huh, that's usually a good sign when you're out at the state park to turn around. And so we started hiking back towards the car.
This is insane.
Well, that's. I don't know if Nick can actually hear me.
That was 90.
The storms are very, very.
We lost the window. We lost the back window.
Okay, so we're gonna. If you guys can take Nick's mic down, we're gonna let them make sure they get to somewhere safe. But an incredibly intense thunderstorm is coming through. If you know anyone who's on the roads right now and that can get off of the roads that are on anywhere from around I-380 south of Waterloo to Cedar Rapids, on Highway 30, 151.
Measured a wind gust of just over 90 miles an hour, and then the back right window in our vehicle blew out. So at that point, we're really trying to assess, well, what can we do in this situation?
Okay, shoot. Yeah, we're good. We lost the window.
But it looks like it's getting even worse out there. I mean, that is incredibly strong. He said 92-mile-an-hour winds, and possibly higher than that. It looks like that they were going up.
The second window that was right behind my head blew out, and it showered me with glass. It cut up my hand pretty good as well. The gust got stronger with time, and this wasn't 5-10 minutes. This went on for 30 to 45 minutes. We measured 99 before we had to shut everything down, and we by far saw stronger wind gusts in the following 10-15 minutes.
Okay, I hear the last of the wheelings shutting down here. They send off the activation tone like 5 times there. They usually do it 3. This is an ugly storm that you saw coming in. This is the ugliest I've seen in a really, really long time.
Blizzard conditions blew through Iowa, and Iowa's News Now Weather First went into action.
We're going to see the threat once again for accumulating snowfall.
The earliest warning possible.
The other big impact that we're seeing is the decline in our visibility.
Expert storm tracking.
We want to show you the situation if you do have to head out the door.
And live conditions on all your screens.
The wind will continue to increase upwards of 40 miles an hour.
Always trust Weather First, only on Iowa's News Now. Iowa's News Now, always your news source.
It is a devastating sight.
Always immediate.
In less than 24 hours.
Always get the full perspective.
I posed that very question. Will they be promised that second dose?
Always impactful.
What must change as soon as possible?
And always be prepared with Weather First.
We've been dealing and talking about this winter storm for about a week. Sure enough, here it is.
On all your screens, all the time. Always choose Iowa's News Now.
Visibility is going to drop if they can get off of the road. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to stop and pull over, and there's going to be a lot of issues there. So here, yeah, Highway 30 and 16th Avenue southwest side of Cedar Rapids. Here it goes. It's starting now. The wind is going to make this incredibly difficult to travel in because there's intense rain. There's going to be debris. We have seen this happen.
Okay, wind is starting to pick up now. That is really, really dark out. I'm looking over my neighbor's house. It is black out. It is black. Okay, yeah, there's the shelf. That's the leading edge of the shelf right there. You can hear the roar, holy crap. You can hear the roar as it comes in, oh my God. There it is. You can hear it roaring off to the west.
There are a lot of people on the highway. I'm just clicking around on our DOT cameras, and there are some people around the metro area, but the skies are going to get dark. Sarah, can you get, yeah, we can go to the Coralville camera too. There's Highway 30 and Williams Boulevard. You can't even see, I can see some lights flashing, but you can hardly see what's going on here. And this is coming into Cedar Rapids now.
Oh my goodness. The roar. You can hear the roar. Oh my God, trees are going down over there.
There's the shelf cloud starting to come in, and we are going to be experiencing very low visibility, very strong winds here very shortly, and we are going to just watch this come to the east here.
Irony is, sometimes when the damage is so bad, like happened in Cedar Rapids, it knocks your communications out, so you're not hearing something. And that's one of those red flags, is when you know something bad is going on, but you're not hearing much about it, then you know you're in a real serious situation.
Okay, the power is off. I lost power.
So then I got a text from one of my friends from Stony Point who showed me this black sky. And then my son-in-law, who is also a spotter, he works on the west side. He also texted me a picture of black sky. So I was like, what is this? So I looked down, was studying the radar, maybe 30 seconds. Looked up, and the sky was a whole lot different. I mean, then it was showing the classic shelf cloud, gust front shelf cloud across the whole west sky, and then that's like, oh boy, here we go. This is it.
Kilo Echo 0 Sierra Sierra Mike, large mature trees coming down Edgewood and Highway 100. HF from UUS, we lost power at our house. Scott might have lost it too. Might be why he's not responding. Answer UUS. We're in excess of 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Holy cow, this is really blowing. Stay up, tree, stay up. Oh my God, this is 70. Oh my God, holy cow. I got hit in the house. We just had a gust of over 80 at my house.
You could just see the front coming through, and I stopped to take some photos of it. It was impressive, and you could sort of hear the wind. There were some other folks out there along the Cedar River just looking at it, and so I took some pictures, and it was moving pretty fast, and you could start to feel the wind pick up a little bit, and you could hear the rain. So hightailed it back to our car, which was parked not far away, and started trying to okay, it's time to go.
Visually, it wasn't any different really than, classic shelf cloud events in the summertime. But the fact that I was monitoring ham radio, because I'm also a ham radio operator, there was all sorts of traffic. Winds here are 60 miles per hour. The trees are bent halfway down. And so since I was monitoring that got the adrenaline. That made me realize that this was no ordinary storm.
Winds are still sustaining.
Oh my.
60 miles an hour.
There you go. It's just picking up now.
Yeah, the tree across the way is blown down.
In storms before, I've been in a position where we block a down tree or down power lines. It's not an everyday thing, but it's also not too uncommon during a storm. I came across a tree that was down and a power line in the 1600 block of 2nd Avenue, and it was definitely picking up at that time. The storm was getting noticeably bad, and a lot of officers were calling in that they were blocking roads with down trees and down power lines. And as I sat there, I was in Wellington Heights and a lot of old trees in that area, a lot of big old trees. I realized that there's probably going to be more trees coming down. I don't want to be sitting in this block. And so that's when I headed out of there.
I don't want to be here. It's coming down on me.
You should be in the base. It should be in the basement, not tornado straight line winds. There's all sorts of reports of mature trees coming down. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just getting where I'm at right now. So, all right. Love you. Bye.
I mean, oh my, the doors just blew open in the studio. Wow. The doors just got blown open.
Wow.
You can just hear the
can see it.
intensity. Yeah, there it is.
It's 12:30, but it feels like very nighttime out there.
Yeah.
The first time when I realized that we may be in danger is when those doors flew open in the back, and I realized how powerful those winds, and I got a glimpse of what was going on outside. And then shortly afterwards, the lights started shaking and swinging.
The lights start shaking. Sarah and I kind of grab each other, and we're like, we probably need to leave. And they were probably listening to me in the newsroom.
Oh, he's losing his roof. He lost part of his roof. My neighbor lost part of his roof. You can see the shingles blowing off. Oh, he's losing his roof.
And I said, look at me. We're talking, it said 90 to 100 mile an hour winds. Yeah.
We didn't see it coming until it was almost on us. We got out, tried to get a few people that were close by into our service area here for some protection, but we couldn't even get out into the park because trees were just falling right and left over the road.
You know, my wife wondered if we were really making the right decision to try to drive through that rain, that storm. So we pulled over. I mean, just a lot of rain, a lot of wind. Park ranger came over and was like, "Hey, would you folks like to come down into my basement?" And usually when a park ranger asks you if you want to take shelter in their basement, that seems like a good time to say yes.
851, block of you're in the line down when you're ready to come.
We're starting to become overwhelmed with 911 calls with damage and fires. We're taking Cedar Rapids calls as well.
That is not unheard of.
I hope it's still attached.
I hope we can show you it
wow.
at some
the
point.
winds are very strong. It is very eerie. The building, oh my gosh.
The building is shaking.
It sounds like something fell on the building. I think we need to, we're gonna just assess how things are here, but the lights are shaking.
Yep, things
Please
are
stay
rattling.
inside of your home.
Please, if you're driving, pull over. Lots of cars have pulled over. Take shelter. Get inside a store. This is, again, tornado force, hurricane force winds. Our building is shaking.
Yeah, we have very intense winds going on. We're gonna go into our master control to take shelter. We advise you to do the same. Very intense winds are going on. I'm gonna hope that you can still hear me while I do this.
There goes another good gust. Okay, that was 80 there too. Oh my goodness, this is a dare ratio. Holy cow.
I pulled up here during our lunch hour. The crew went to go get food, and I came back to get some frog tape for an accent wall. And I pulled the truck up horizontally here because it was already starting to pour pretty hard. I just ran from the door to the front door, which was here, and got drenched because it was already raining pretty hard. But I go back to our shelves, which are over in that corner of the shop. And then I come back here to the front door, and then that's when I saw the street signs bent over, trees were bending. So I decided it was safer to stay here than try to drive back to the job site, just in case it's picked up any further. And then this is what we have. Help! There's stuff flying everywhere. Sign bent over. Help!
I don't really ever think, where can I get away from trees? So I head up First Avenue, and that's when it was obvious that this was really bad. When I saw where the tree was, or where the car was in the roadway, I could tell that that's not a parked car. That one was in the lane of traffic, so most likely someone was stopped at a light and the tree had fallen on. And no, it was obvious. I just need to go out there and I need to check on them, make sure they're good, see if I can do anything to help them. So I peeked in the window, I could see her in there, and I was able to talk to her through the rear driver's side window. It was cracked a couple inches. I couldn't see through those windows because their side airbags had deployed. So I talked to her through there. I made sure she was okay. She said she was. She said she was the only person in the car. So I asked her if she could get out on the passenger side. I moved over there, and we couldn't get the door open very far because a branch was blocking it, but we got it open just enough that she could slide out.
Holy shit, that could have been so much worse.
Yeah, I'm glad you're okay.
I gotta call my sister back. I was just on the phone with her.
I'm out with a female. The tree was down in the car. I'm gonna get her somewhere safe. She's fine. First, we got this girl quite hard. She was looking.
This has been going on now for 20 minutes. Almost 20 minutes now.
This event was ongoing, and I knew after about 20 minutes that this was not going to be good because trees were breaking. I could see in the back, in the distance, trees were breaking, and so I've never seen this kind of destruction in my entire life.
It'd been going on for a while, and going on and going on and going on. And I was actually getting cold because I think I had cowboy boots, some shorts, and a tank top on. And all the water coming in here was very cold water too, and very cold winds that came with it. I was concerned for them to come out here because they were new, and so I was really worried. And I grabbed them underneath my arms, and they were just shaking, and they were cold too. But I just felt I had to protect them.
So we're gonna take a deep breath. We all are. This is not over. This is going to continue to go through eastern Iowa. And we are going to continue to see these incredibly strong winds.
Holy sh**. Holy. Holy.
It can't update. I don't have data. I don't have power either, so I don't have Wi-Fi.
It's not uncommon if you have somebody with a disabled vehicle up on a highway. I try to get to them some sort of populated place, a business, so usually a gas station or grocery store. Then they can call for somebody that can come get them the rest of the way home. So that was my first thought, a gas station or grocery store, and I knew Ivy was just a few blocks away. Can you hear me? Power's out here. I'm not gonna be able to get in that door and the power out. Okay. Once I found that first car at the tree line, I felt like there's going to be more of this. I need to get out there and find these people because they're not going to be able to call for help. I'm not going to be able to get communications that these are the people that need help. And that's why I think after I got her into the Hy-Vee, I was going to head back out. And I kind of realized, like, I'm not going to do anyone any good. I can't even see across the street from this point. I'm not going to find anyone like this. I'm just going to end up with a tree on my car.
This is absolutely wild. At least those lights are sometimes still on. Let's take a peek outside. Oh, okay, all right. I guess I'm closing the door now. I'm not even like pushing it that hard. It's just getting stuck to close.
We presumed there were other hikers out there because we just didn't have time to go clear the entire park before the storm hit.
At the time, it didn't strike me as something particularly out of the ordinary, right? It didn't strike me as this inland hurricane. At the time, honestly, what really was part of the calculation was the pandemic. Here we were hanging out in a basement with a bunch of strangers. Right? Like it hit it was confined space, not great ventilation, bunch of people we don't know. Not everybody was wearing masks. So there was certainly a little bit of like, oh, that's not good.
Okay, it's picking up. Wow. Look at that. There goes another branch off that tree.
I-380 Collins Road. Intense winds going on northeast side of town, but you can just hear noises. Things are hitting the roof.
I started seeing debris and stuff like that floating around. I saw somebody's round, plastic, large swimming pool just rolling along the field. But then it got to the point where debris started hitting my car. When it first started, the winds were out of the west. And then as it started to pick up, it changed to the northwest. So I moved my car directly into the wind at northwest. But it was when the winds probably got to 100 miles per hour, it felt like being in an automated car wash. Your car was shaking, water and suds were hitting the window, blasting the window that at times you couldn't see out the car.
It definitely lasted a long time. It was surprising how long it lasted. I was basically waiting inside the Hy-Vee until I could see across the street again. I figured then it would be time to go back out. And I was concerned that I would find more situations like this, and that's why I wanted to get back out in the street. And with the radios not working, and I knew dispatch was being overwhelmed with calls because everyone has this happening. They have no idea that this is the entire city, the entire county, this whole area of Iowa is being hit like this.
The rain is dying down. This is the rear inflow jet that's coming through. I got damage.
Just listen to the sounds that's going on right now. Oh, okay, all right. I guess I'm closing the door now.
I didn't want to be filming at this window because of the fact that anything coming in here is going to come right into the window. This is that rear inflow jet that's punching down to the surface.
Here's a live look inside of our studio.
It's
There's
shaking.
why we're not in
That's
there
why we
right now. But the lights, the ceiling is shaking. We could hear everything shaking in there. So this is why it's so important for you to be in that lowest level of your home. The doors are opening and there are people rushing in to close the doors, and we're still trying to tell people what's happening, because at that point I'm just kind of narrating because I'm like, well, this is what's going to be coming, you know, to the east too, and what's happening in Cedar Rapids.
But not something I ever expected would happen. I thought really the only chance that I would ever have to leave the studio if we were on the path of a tornado. You don't think about that happening just with a severe thunderstorm.
I don't know what we thought was going to happen, but I mean, very realistically, the lights above us in the studio could have come down on our heads.
This is bad. That's got to be a tornado.
Okay, great. Okay. Perfect, thank you. That's it.
That was probably 70 there. I have half an hour recording capability on my camera. I'm at almost 27 minutes right now. That's how long this has been going.
There we go. So there were some loud crashes outside. I'm pretty sure either trees fell or roofs are getting torn off. I'm like cowering in the bathroom now because there's at least another layer above me. But I don't know, it takes a lot to scare me, but I'm a little spooked. Hoping this all holds up here. I'll be here.
It was obvious that this was really bad. A lot of officers have been calling in on the radios, and our radios started getting on the fritz, and we actually lost radios for a while. You couldn't hear everything that was being transmitted. Everything that was being transmitted wasn't coming through. They had us change channels. We have emergency backup channels that are lesser quality, but they can transmit farther.
Oh my God. Something really big definitely just fell or got torn off. I'm gonna keep this rolling.
Just when you think it's starting to die down, it picks back up again. I think we're probably gusting to like 70 here.
Jeez. What is going on?
good for now? You good? Okay. Check it.
Currently, they just have a station facility.
Jeez Louise, this isn't gonna end.
Those are all particles from the...
I've got 45 seconds left on this clip.
Everything's pretty much down.
Up there.
And
There are not many trees standing out there.
no, and things are
Something's
coming
definitely
down.
getting
There's
rustled out here.
just like leaves splattered. It's likely going to look like a bit of a. I mean, like it reminds me like after a hurricane, you step outside and you're dealing with this very widespread damage.
Oh my god! Look at this! The roof is shaking real hard. Oh no. Oh man.
And yeah, I mean, we have a big tower that sits above our studio, and we have the ceilings shaking in there. Luckily, in the hallway that we are where we are, it's shaking in that studio.
I'm very curious what it's like outside right now, but I'm not going to go take a look. We are staying right here.
It was so loud because of all the destruction and damage and things that were flying and hitting things. It was nothing like I've seen or heard before.
Power lines, and if it's not doing that, it's going to blow over all the trees. Again, not very many standing here in Broadcast Park taking out the power lines. We do have, it looks like, about for western Linn County, 15 more minutes in this warning. Hopefully by then we're just getting some widespread rain and thunderstorms, not nearly as intense. But far eastern Linn County and far off towards the Mississippi, that one goes till 1:30. So we do still have a good amount of time that we're going to be seeing these damaging thunderstorms and winds. And still here, it doesn't look like it's died down much.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh no. Oh no. All right. Okay. All right. Well. Oh man. Please hold. No, 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 no.